So basically, realistically, I'm in my fight with Amir, and I believe that I'm the champion. Kell Brook and Amir Khan reportedly close to being done. Kell Brook puts pressure on Amir Khan and has reportedly signed his end of the bargain to fight Amir Khan. We're going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego in the back with some more boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way, you made it. You arrived at the video. Please help others find the content. Reach one, teach one. Now, I just seen this. This just came across the desk. They're saying that a 35-year-old Kell Brook is and has signed his end of the bargain to possibly fight Amir Khan, presumably in 2022, since we're already in November. I doubt that they would be able to get a fight like this off the ground in the final month of the year because time is of the essence. And as of me recording the video, the fight hasn't been announced. So I would say it would be more likely for early 2022, right? Kell Brook did a recent interview and he's quoted as saying, quote, "I might have got a fight. I might not have got a fight. I think I need a massive fight to get involved in. And I think the fight that everyone wants to see is with the guy Amir Khan from Bolton. I've signed my part of the fight and he just needs to come forward and sign his part. We've got the British fight, the biggest fight in British boxing, and we've signed our bit. Everybody knows this fight needs to happen. I've done my thing. Let's see him do his thing. And then we've got the biggest fight in British boxing. I think the time is now." So basically, to be honest with you, I've said that before, but who knows with this guy, Amir Khan. That's the only fight that will start me again in boxing. This is no disrespect to Conor Benn, but he still needs to build himself. Conor Benn needs to come through some certain type of hurdles before he can actually demand that kind of a fight. He's got to become a world champion. He's got to be in big fights to get these massive fights. I've got my stripes and Amir Khan got his stripes. We're both in similar positions in our career, and it's time for us to collide together, end quote. Now, the ironic thing is this. It's very funny when you see the agenda-driven people within this boxing media game and in the boxing world, and they were quick to hate on Floyd Mayweather, especially since he beat Manny Pacquiao. Right? And they called it the worst fight and it didn't live up to expectations. And you've seen a ton of journalists after Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao. So the fans demanded for the fight and it happened. Pacquiao didn't want to take a drug test. So initially it didn't happen when it could have happened. But that was the real original hurdle. And then it happened when it happened in 2015. We all watched it. It sold a lot of money. It was the highest grossing fight in boxing history. It still holds the #1 gate, and that's not to be beaten for quite some time, I would imagine. And people in the boxing media, they found a way to hate on it. And I seen a continued and concerted effort to advocate and suggest that that fight was so far past its expiration date. And the fight should have happened in 2006, 2007, 2008, right around that area. You know, when Pacquiao had fought Josh Clottey, Floyd fought maybe Shane Mosley, right around that period, right? Fast forward to the future. This is me, your boy Ego, in 2021, talking about an Amir Khan and Kell Brook fight. I want to see if those same people and same boxing media members and boxing journalists will keep that same energy and now find this fight with Amir Khan and Kell Brook grossly past the expiration date. Because you have to keep this in mind. When we're talking Floyd Mayweather, easy work, I ain't got to worry about. And we're talking about Manny Pacquiao. They were two anomalies in the sport of boxing. Like literally, we won't see another Mayweather or Pacquiao for quite some time, right? And they both came up in a different time before social media and had to do real numbers and they both were doing good numbers. Of course, Floyd's numbers were always better, doing $1 million plus. So the point I'm making is this: it was still, even when it happened, it was still a massive event. Henceforth, why I just told you it's the highest grossing fight in boxing history, above any Mike Tyson fight, Lennox Lewis, or anybody else. You know, all the top heavyweights, Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson, because usually heavyweights were the one that kind of held the crowns of the biggest grossing fights and stuff like that. So Mayweather Pacquiao was that. So I want to see if boxing fans keep the same energy, because as far as I'm concerned, Amir Khan and Kell Brook is so far past that expiration date. Is not funny. They're both basically coming off knockout losses. I know Amir Khan has since fought, but he literally fought a featherweight in Billy Dib, and neither guy has been active, and both times they stepped up and fought somebody elite recently, they both lost, and they lost bad. Amir Khan got knocked out by Terrence Crawford. Kell Brook afterwards got knocked out by Terrence Crawford. Amir Khan, previous to that, fought Canelo. That was his, like, an elite name. I'm talking about elite guys. And he was badly knocked out by Canelo, etc. Kell Brook badly knocked out by Triple G and Errol Spence back to back. So this fight is just like meh. And that's all I could say. You know, if they fight, they fight. God bless them, you know. But it sounds like Kell Brook, he doesn't want to fight necessarily a Conor Ben. He's saying he got to earn his stripes and stuff. I think he's just looking for a big fight, and he feels Amir Khan is more ripe and they're at similar spots. So that's probably more up his alley, you know, as opposed probably for both of them. You know, Amir Khan and Kell Brook, they're pretty shop-worn veterans of this sport, and they've done great things in their careers, but they both look well past it. And I don't think anyone would be surprised if either guy retired. So it just looks like one big last cash out. You know, this fight happening now would be similar to Brandon Rios and Victor Ortiz fighting. Like it's a type of fight where, yeah, there's a bad blood, there's a rivalry, but that's why in boxing you got to strike while the iron's hot. Or it would be like Mikey Garcia versus Yuriorkis Gamboa. These were all big fights, but when you don't strike while the iron's hot and you let them marinate too long, and then people lose and people look vulnerable, get knocked out, whatever, have inactivity, this would happen. So that's just my update video. I want to see if the boxing media members keep the same energy they have for Floyd Mayweather and talk constantly about how the Pacquiao Mayweather fight was so far past its expiration date, because that's exactly what I feel about Amir Khan and Kell Brook. You guys could look it up, but there was a UK show and they had Amir Khan and Kell Brook as studio guest. And if you look at the year that face-to-face studio sit-down interview was, and then you fast forward to the future, that was like probably almost a decade ago, like 2013, 14 or something. I'd have to research it. But as of me recording the video, I know it was a long time ago, like a long, long time ago. So that's my thoughts on it. You know, if they fight, they fight, but it's not really, he's talking about the biggest fight in British boxing history. If Joshua gets his belts back, him and Tyson Fury is bigger. Dillian White, Tyson Fury is probably a bigger fight, just because they're more closer to their primes than Amir Khan and Kell Brook. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and I'm out.